Quick, graph y equals 1 over x minus 3 by hand, 2 different ways, part of the family of functions series. You will need graph paper or download this PDF and print it. Press pause as needed anytime. The first way is we're going to use what I call the reciprocal dance. We first need to identify the center point of the graph. And normally the center is at the origin, but because of the minus 3 in the equation, we're going to have to move the center point down to 0, -3. So I'll plot that with that orange point right there. And through that center point, we're going to draw the asymptotes with dotted lines. So the first one will be the graph y equals -3, and the vertical will be x equals 0. From the center point, we'll use that as our starting point. We're going to plot 6 key points. The first one will be right 1, up 1 from there, because the reciprocal of 1 is 1. Right 2, up a half. The reciprocal of 2 is a half. And right a half, up 2, because the reciprocal of a half is 2. Going down into the so-called new third quadrant, left 1, down 1, because the reciprocal of -1 is -1. Left 2, down a half, because the reciprocal of -2 is -1/2. And left 1/2, down 2, the reciprocal of -1/2 is -2. And now that we have those, we're going to connect those points with the 2 branches of a hyperbola to fit in with those asymptotes. And it looks like that. Comparing this to the parent function, y equals 1 over x, we can see that from the blue to the green, it's down 3 from there, down 3 from there, and down 3 from there. In fact, from all of the points. The second way is using a table. So we're going to use these 6 points in our traditional y equals 1 over x table. And we're going to subtract 3 from each of the y coordinates because that's what it says to do in the equation. So for the first one, a half minus 3, think of that as a half minus 6 halves, which would be -5 halves. So that would be right 2, down 2.5. 1 minus 3 is -2, so plotting 1, -2. And 2 minus 3 is -1, plotting the point 1/2, -1. -2 minus 3 is -5, so -1/2, -5. -1 minus 3 is -4, so plotting -1, -4. And finally, -1/2 minus 6 halves would be -7 halves, so plot -2, -3.5. Again, connecting the point, well, we'll draw on the asymptote lines as first. I think that would be wiser. Okay, so y equals -3, and the y-axis x equals 0. And now we should connect the points and make a beautiful hyperbola with 2 branches. And we can compare that to the y equals 1 over x parent function. Now you try one. Graph y equals 1 over x minus 2 using either method or both for the practice. Press pause to do this and then resume when finished to check. And this is the answer. It's a reciprocal function shifted down 2 units.